All right. I do believe we are live. All right, hello everyone. Super happy that you guys are actually here. My name is Saban, my beautiful wife
Hello,
and partner,
Phyllis.
and we are here. We were thinking about this live, what we're gonna discuss with you guys today, and this coming weekend in the U.S. Those of you who live in the U.S. Is I believe tax-free weekend, where you go shopping for school supplies and you go shopping for clothes, anything that has to do with school, and you don't pay taxes because some parts of the country next week is already school, back to school, and then the rest of the country starting after Labor Day is actually school starts. So then life starts again, right? It comes fall, then comes Halloween, and then comes Thanksgiving, then comes Christmas. Don't get me wrong. I love the decorations and all that stuff. And then comes New Year's celebration. And then we love celebrating, bringing in the New Year as well. And then the New Year starts, right? Have you ever found yourself asking, like, what's the purpose of your life? What's the meaning of life? Is this all there is to life? And if you have asked yourself or are asking yourself this right now, we understand how you feel. We've actually been there ourselves. We lived in what we call a box, right? We worked in the box. We lived in the box. Our relationship was inside of this box. And 6 years ago, about 6.5 years ago, actually, we kind of stepped out of this box. And it has everything to do with these three decisions, right? Because these three decisions either build your life or break it. And we're going to share with you those three decisions that we actually made that really built the life, the relationship, our business, the money that we have, the time that we have, where we actually live. And these decisions have been the driver of everything. And we're going to use us as an example. Hopefully, that you can take that away and actually apply the very same steps that we actually made to kind of live what we call our dream life while running now an 8-figure business that actually funds and fuels it, and have really stepped into what we call anywhere entrepreneurs, right? Where we are freedompreneurs, being able to live, work, and earn from anywhere. So the very first thing that we actually made is to live our dream life. So what's living your dream life actually look like? We were never taught this, right? As a matter of fact, if you look at the question that was even asked of you at home or even at school, like, who do you want to be when you grow up, for example, right? So that question is really asked so that it sets you on this path of doing, not necessarily being, right? Because when you choose that profession or you choose that career, that job, you start going to that, to try to get that degree to become that person that you chose to be, because then you have to do all the things necessary to become that person, right? Get a degree, then you do the profession, and you become that person. You save up, then retire. All of those things we're actually programmed to do. And the very first question that we had to kind of ask ourselves was that if if money were really no longer an issue, how would we be living? Essentially, what does our dream life look like, and what does it take to actually live it, right? So that's the very first thing. So for us, we our answer was very, very simple. It was like go where we want, when we want, stay as long as we want, bring as many people as we want. Essentially, we started asking, like, if time and money were no longer an issue, where are we? What are we doing? Who are we with? And that has really shaped every other decision that we actually have made after that ultimate decision. So that's the very first step, first decision that you have to make is define really what your dream life actually looks like. Right? So your take on this first point?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the very first thing that we want to define for you is what is the box, right? I know Steve have been talking to you about the box, but what is the box for you? And what box really means for us, in Chinese, there's this word called "chiu." That means there's a human, and then there's a box outside. And what that means is you're actually locking yourself up into a cage, and that's what we always talk about. Are you living a prison life? That means that you lock yourself up. So when Steve talked about you're in a box, that's what he really meant. And just like kind of what Robert Kiyosaki actually talked about once upon a time, is that the school, the parents, right, the society actually give you a lot of rules, expectation, what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do, and ultimately we slowly build this what I thought I'm supposed to do or not supposed to do. And when I was 8 years old, I went to a Tony Robbins event, and that's when I really realized. I was like, "Whoa! I just woken up." I recognized that my box at that moment was responsibility. Right, my responsibility is I need to be a good wife, I need to be a good daughter, I need to be a good mother, I need to be a good business owner, I need to be a good sister. But I never really, and so I took all these responsibility, box myself up. And the one thing that I never really asked myself is, what about me? Who am I? Right? How do I want to live my life? And literally, I was like, wow, I did not know that that was a box, right? And I never really asked myself. And after that, that's when I started to explore, and that's when we found out about dream life. What is the dream life that I truly want? Right? Are you dreaming? Are you dreaming? Are you really living that dream life? And to me, dream life is different from everybody. I've been interviewing a lot of entrepreneurs, my sister, my brother, a lot of family members, and I realized that dream life is actually different from one person to the other,
Yep.
right? For example, Cease, I think his dream life is to work every single day, right, and to give every single day, right? For me, is I love to delegate, still get the things done, but I definitely do not want to work as much as he does. But at the same time, I still wanted to get the same result as everyone. At the same time, I also love to travel. One of my really good friends, Philip, um, he told me like, "Hey, Phyllis, love your life. I see that you travel everywhere, but I like to work at home. I like to be in my office with all my tech, and I would like to work like that." My cousin, her dream life is, I want to be a nomad. I want to go travel around the world. Every place, every home, every location is my home, right? And they're never gonna be a standard home for me, right? Because I want to explore the world. I have another friend who is like, hey, my dream life is I want to have, 10 Lamborghini or a kind of Lamborghini, have a gigantic home, right? And that is a dream life for me. So, what about you? What is your dream life for you? Type it down below. That means that if today is your last day on earth, right? Are you living a life that you're not regretting? Are you really truly living the life that you're truly happy about? And it is based on your rule, your system, and your structure.
Yeah, I believe that life, that is, if you want to really boil down life, it's about living with, leaving this world really with no regrets or very little regrets as possible, right? There's a book written by Bronnie Ware called The Top Five Regrets of the Dying. She's helping people transition, or she's taking care of the sick. And she started like asking them questions like, what are things that they did, things that they didn't do? And what she found was people actually regretted more the things that they didn't do than the things that they actually did. And the five regrets that she ended up finding out were like, the very first one was that people were regretting that they lived a life of what others expected them instead of a life true to themselves. The second was that they wish they wouldn't have had worked so hard, wouldn't have traded their time, essentially their life, for money. Third is that they wish they would have expressed more of their feelings. The fourth was they wish that would have stayed connected and true to friends. And then fifth was I wish I would have let myself be happier and follow my dreams, right? Pursue my dreams instead of the kind of the normal. So that's what really living your dream life is. Phyllis is right. Like, it really depends on what you view as your dream life. For us, it's like if our dream life is go, right? We want to go. We want to travel the world because grew up with very little. Spend most of the time growing up in the city we were in, and kind of expected to kind of grow up and work where we actually grew up. Seeing the world was not something that was made for people like us. So when we actually found a way to actually do that, we're like, no, we want to go. Like, we want to go, like I said, wherever we want, whenever we want, stay as long as we want, bring as many people as we want. We love the variety. That's why we made that decision in 2019 and 2019. So in 2020, that's like, okay, this is how I want to live. Every decision has to follow this main decision, right? Because this decision now says that we want a freedom life. That's freedom, family, fun, food, right? Things like that. That's us. That's what we want to be inside of the box, right? So after that, we said, it allowed us to, make decisions on our relationship, make decisions on like our son's schooling, like to homeschool them. It helped us make decisions on like even where we live, like our life, right? having houses now in where we're at now in Malaysia. We have a house here, we have a house in Laos, and then we, obviously live in the U.S. as well. So all those decisions was after the main decision to live this type of freedom life. So you have to decide, what does live your dream life actually look like for you. But start there first before everything else, because we're never taught this, right? So then second decision we actually made was to love your dream self. Love your dream self. That's why it became Bronnie Ware's number one regret of the dying. I regretted that I did not live a life true to myself. I lived a life what others expected of me, right? Because again, we were conditioned, we were programmed, right? If you look at the math, just look at it as a math problem. Be this person, go get a degree, work as this person that you've chosen, work for another 30, 40 years, and then save up as much as you can. Hopefully everything goes according to plan. And then you retire happy and live out your last 10 or 15 years of what I would consider your best years of your life, happy. And it's like, wow, that's not how I want to live. So that's not my dream self, right? And I look back at a lot of your, at least for me, love your dream self is about what I consider like past voids, things that you didn't have when you were younger or that you saw that was missing in your life that have now really become your highest value, things that you value the most. So for me, it's about stepping into my actually personal calling, my purpose that wealth, for example, a wealthy family must come from me, right? Because I did not come from a wealthy family. I also did not come from a family that built their dream. They went to work for somebody else. So I became an entrepreneur because I believe that if I don't build my dream, someone will hire me to build theirs. So I went down that road as well, and I'm like, I don't like this. I'm here being the best employee for somebody else's company, somebody else helping build somebody else's dream, when I can actually build my very own dream, And then third for me, it's about time, right? Trading time for money, trading hours for dollars is not something that is my dream self. My dream self is not that. My dream self is freedom, being able to be both money rich and time rich, and purpose rich. Really doing what I am called to purposely do. That is my dream self. That has allowed me to really not just achieve but live fulfilled as well. Right? Tony Robbins said a few years back at UPW. I remember 2018 we went to UPW. He said, "Achievement without fulfillment is ultimate failure." I took that in. It really hit me hard because at that time we were striving to achieve like most people do in the world, but we definitely weren't fulfilled, right? So you see it. You see people who are millionaires, billionaires, right? At the end of the day, they're like, they kill themselves and things like that, right? It's like because they achieved at a high level, but they're not fulfilled. So that's for me, love your dream self. So, how about you?
Yeah, mine is more internal. For me, my dream self is how can I be happy no matter what, right? How can I be happy no matter what? How can I be less judgy of myself, right? How can I be more ease, grace, and play instead of like the Omi? I think the Omi coming from an Asian culture, right? It's all about how can you be the perfect you, right? And but parents always just look for the thing that you do not do instead of the thing that you have done, right? The thing that you have not, you have not do is the thing that you have done. I know that when I was 18, I had my O level in Singapore. I study very, very hard. I don't do anything else but school. Wake up, school all the way till night. Read the books until I pass out. And I was so happy because there are 7 subjects. I got 4 A1s, 2 A2, right, and 1 C6. Because at the moment I was a Chinese moving from Malaysia to Singapore, so my English wasn't really that good. But I was focusing on my 6 A's, right? I'm the top 5% in Singapore, and that was really really hard. So bring the result back to the family, and I was like, my gosh, like I did great, and at that moment. I do believe my mom was saying like, "Hey, how come you got a C6?" No praises at all about how well I did for 6 A's, but only focusing on the C6. And ever since then, that shaped my life, shaped my mindset. Right? We only focusing on what is really really bad on us. And again, that was what shaped me for many many years until, like I said, my turning point is about 36, 37, 38. right? And that's when I realized, wow, I recognize that if you notice, like there's people who are really mean, right? If there's people who are really, really mean to you, that means that they're really hard on you. But the truth is they're very hard on themselves. So I kind of started to release myself, right? And I was trying to give myself a big praise, like great job, Phyllis, right? You did a great job, whether it's small or big. If I fail, no problem, great job, Phyllis, because you have tried, you figured it out. We're gonna do it again, right? And ever since I just practiced slowly and slowly praising myself, telling myself that I'm doing amazing, living in a flow life, and attracting people that will love me no matter what. Instead of being judgmental, right? Being angry and pissed off at me any single time, right? Being high emotion, right? Right now, my dream life is it was pretty calm, and then if there's up, it's usually happy up, right? I barely have any like down anymore. But is there any time that I do have? Of course, because I'm a human being. But I don't really dwell on that. I don't really live there, right? I usually just make sure that I'm always on the up, up, up. And I really believe that that is the main reason why we are successful. Because the truth is, at this moment of time, right, we have hired so many people, and on staff itself, we have about 360 people. And just imagine 360 people at any given time. Will one person make a mistake? Yes. And if that person make a mistake, how would you feel at the very beginning? Horrible, right? That's why it was so hard for us to grow from a 1% to 5% to 10%. But right at this moment, because I have decided to live my dream life no matter what, and I dream self no matter what. And when people come to me, they always see me as happy. And just like what the books always talk about, happy people, happy result. And that is what I believe dream self needs to be at. No matter what happened, there's no bad emotion, because bad emotion have no correct outcome, right? It will only make things worse instead of better. And don't take things too hard. Just like what Tony said. See it as it is, not worse than it is. And smile is free, so feel free to smile to people more than what you quote unquote could afford.
Yeah. Yeah. So living your dream life is about time, right? Like, what are you spending most of your time on? Time rich, we call it, right? And living your dream self is really about purpose rich. What's your purpose in life? Who are you called to be? What are you called to do? Not that default, right? And third is the decision we actually made. Now that we know where we want to go, right, where we want to live, go where we want, wherever we want, whenever we want, and then stepping into our true purpose. Then the third decision is lead your dream business. At that time, at 2020, we had built several businesses actually, and that was just a little bit over 14 years as entrepreneurs. And at the beginning of 2020, we're like, does these businesses actually get us to, are they designed to actually get us to live our dream life, right? Get us to our destination. Those were the vehicles that we actually got into, business vehicles that they didn't, unfortunately. So we shut several of them down. Actually, we shut all of them down. And then at the beginning of 2020, you said, what businesses now that we have to lead that's our dream business that actually can fund and fuel this lifestyle that we want, this freedom lifestyle. So lead your dream business is about now, what business will actually be able to get you there, right? So we Phyllis launched a virtual assistants business, an agency to help people that make money. They're even money rich. A lot of our clients are not only just making money, but they're making a lot of money. We help them with these virtual assistants we have a huge virtual assistants team in the Philippines, and really to kind of buy back their time, right? To shift from that doer to delegator. So that was one of the business. And the second business was a coaching business where we started coaching people on how to sell online and marketing funnels and creating their offers and messaging and things like that, how to market online. So those two businesses are allowing us to say, if we want the freedom to go where we want, when we want, stay as long as we want, bring as many people as we want, that means that our business has to be something that gives us the freedom to do that as well. To be what we call anywhere entrepreneurs or freedompreneurs, where we can actually live, we can work, we can earn from anywhere, right? So your business vehicle cannot be the very first thing that actually get into without really knowing your destination. That's really why we started today with Live Your Dream Life. Like, you got to know what that actually looks like. You got to know what the life that you actually want. Most people do it backwards. They get into the business or the profession and in hopes, right? Pray and hope that it actually gives them the life that they actually want. And that's a huge mistake, right? We went down that road, so we actually know, right? And we went down that road for 14 years. We built several businesses that unfortunately did not give us life that we actually wanted. But the key ingredient or recipe to this is you got to know what you want first, right? Then you decide what business will actually get it to you, right? So that's what the biggest shift for us was. So third part is lead your dream business. So that's give us your take on that, your business, your launch, and then how it's really provided us, given us the life that we actually live now. Not only for us, I think that for the virtual assistants in the Philippines, for sure, but our client. That's the most fulfilling part. It's not about the income that this business has generated. It's really about the impact that is actually made in other people's lives, the VA's lives, and the client's lives. So tell us a little about that, about our Lead Your Dream business.
Yeah, I think that leading your dream business is definitely something that you're really passionate about, right? It's something that you definitely have a mission for. At least that's what I feel. I was a real estate agent before, and I'm still a real estate agent. But what I recognize is that that didn't really fulfill me. It didn't really give me the definition of a dream self, right? It doesn't motivate me to want to do better. And that's I have decided that okay, this is the dream business that I want to, which is the virtual assistant business. And how I started a business is actually a lot of people tell me that, hey, I think you should start this business because you're brilliant at it. And if you hear something like that from someone, that probably is your dream business, right? So I hear a lot of people say, hey, you are really good at this, so do this. And then my team actually reach out and say, Phyllis, you have given me such a great life with this business. Can you start this business so that it can benefit everybody else? So it's like, wow, I guess it is a great one, right? Because it's a three wins, right? It wins for me, it wins for my clients, and it wins for my team. So that's ultimately the dream business. And on top of that, I am not a profit driven entrepreneur. I am more of a mission driven entrepreneur. So when my assistant Monique told me that, hey, you have changed my life so much. Can you do that so we can change other people's life? I at that moment I recognized that yes, that is what my dream business is. Number two is I also recognize that when I was in real estate and when I was in my alarm business, right? When I was working together with C's, I wasn't motivated to study more, to be better, right? And when I was in this business that we started, right, with the virtual assistant business and now coaching people how to run a freedom life, right, freedom business, a dream life, dream business, is that I consistently now wanted to learn more. I consistently now wanted to overcome my weaknesses. I consistently want to be better than what it is. And because of that, I recognize that I am in the dream business because I am motivated to be the better person, right? And I'm consistently outgrowing the person that I am to become the person that I will be or I want to be. Are you feeling like that too in your business? If you are, type it down below, let us know. If you're like, man, I don't think so. Actually, I'm dreading every morning when I wake up. I don't really want to open up my laptop. I hate my clients. Well, that's kind of some of the hints that, hey, maybe you need to reevaluate so that you can figure out your dream business because it might not be the dream business that you're looking for.
Yeah. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, we definitely want to help you avoid getting the wrong business because we definitely found that 14 years too late, right? 14 years later, I should say. But it's a blessing, right? A blessing that God. And then for you, for existing entrepreneurs, yeah, you might have to make some hard decisions to say, I'm in the wrong business because the business is not designed to actually get me to my dream life, right? So those are the three decisions that we actually made because I believe that these three decisions definitely will either build your life, it has built ours, or it will break it, right? So it kind of shapes your destiny or destroys it, reality, right? So So we are super excited to have you with us here. So again, comment. We would love to know like what your version of your dream life looks like. If you're gonna live it, right? What does your love your dream self, feel like to you, right? Who are you? Like for me, it's not about just working for somebody else. That entrepreneur, that leader, that's for me, right? It's loving my dream self is that. Like I want to be able to lead people. I want to work with clients. I want to change lives. I want to impact the world, right? I want to be me, my true identity. That's why I got into like coaching and leadership and things like that. That's my dream self. And obviously leading my family out of poverty, right? So that's me. And then third is your business. So if you're thinking about either starting a business or you're in a business, you might not be in the business of your choice or the business that you actually should be in. So we would love to know if you're watching this and commenting for us. So next week, we're going to come live to you every single Thursday here at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific in the U.S. time zone. Next week, we want to actually discuss with you how did we become what we call anywhere entrepreneurs or freedompreneurs, right? Financially, there's three things: financial, right? Financial wealth, money rich. How did we go from 6? We were stuck at 6 for 14 years, and then go to 7, and then now to 8. So we're going to kind of share the steps with you there, how we actually did that. Second is purpose rich, which I call fulfillment. How did we kind of discover what our purpose is? Instead of just creating a business to sell a product, we're actually selling our purpose, right? And that's where the flow comes in, because you're selling your purpose, you're in alignment with your assignment. How do we kind of discover that? And then third is freedom. How do we delegate? All those things. Some of the things that we automate, some of the things that we actually leverage, and then most importantly, modeling, right? That is really given us, the freedom as well, right? The time rich as well. So that's kind of all the things that we're going to cover next week with you guys. So if this is something that you want to learn how to actually be able to live, be able to work, be able to earn from anywhere, you may not have to travel like we do, but some version of it, some version of your dream life is in there. For us to live, work, earn from anywhere. So we're going to share with you how we actually did that, and you can take some of the biggest takeaways to apply it to your life as well. So you want to close out with anything?
No. My husband's perfect, whatever you say. So see you guys on the next video.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of the day. Remember to comment, subscribe if you haven't yet. Get this done.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Output correct?
The new currency is about demonstrating authenticity. And our job, I think, is to really help our clients feed their focus and starve their distraction. It's not the amount of money that you make. It's about the